So I'm going to tell you a story that is really about mentorship that turned into friendship that, dare I say, has turned into family. And I mean it to be a story with much admiration and good-heartedness, although it'll start out a little heavy, and he has no idea I'm telling the story, so I'm going to get in trouble tomorrow. So I started at Turner Broadcasting in a time where I think it was about 1994 or 1995 when there was not a lot of women at the company and not a lot of opportunity for people in management to come into Turner Broadcasting because they had a really fantastic culture of creating great talent and promoting them. But I had an opportunity to come into the company in what was not a cable role but a syndication role. But there was a guy who worked at the company at the time who believed in me, and he's sitting here tonight. His name is Joe Yuva. I know, I'm sorry, but I couldn't tell you I was going to talk about this because it was important. So this time of year is really important to me. So I started a bunch of years ago. Some of you in this room know me as, or know Joe and I as that we worked together at NBC Universal, and you might have this thing in your head that we worked together at a time at Turner Broadcasting, but we spent a tremendous amount of time together, which has now formed about a 20-year relationship. I know, can you believe that? And I still have no gray hair. You have some. You'll work on that. When I worked for Joe, and he became an incredible mentor of mine, me and my team was heading out to LA to kind of help propel Turner Broadcasting because we wanted to be somebody back then. In 1994, and we were this little scrappy company from Atlanta, Georgia, and we were going to be somebody. And I had a team of about 10 people out in September 2001, out in LA. And on September 11th, September 11th happened, and we got stranded out in LA. And we got stranded out in LA for 1 day, for 2 days, for 3 days, and we couldn't get home. No cars to rent, no trains to make reservations on, certainly no planes to fly, and it seemed like an impossible journey to get home. And I was, at the time, the highest ranking person kind of shepherding these 10 people who obviously were going through a very emotional time just with the event of it all, but that we were separated from our families. So at the time, I had 2 kids, but my oldest child was about 9, second grade-ish, Matthew, who's a lot older than that now. And what also some of you might know is that I'm an identical twin. And besides that, we look a lot alike. We sound exactly the same on the phone. So after 1 day, 2 day, 3 days go by, on actually September 11th, me and my team were supposed to be on a plane from LA to New York home, but obviously we couldn't get home. I get a phone call 3 days in from my son, Matthew, saying, "Mommy, I was at school today, and someone told me you probably really weren't coming home. And is this Aunt Lori, or is it you, Mommy?" So I had a complete, and I'm unapologetic about my mommy meltdown moment. So I called him. And I will edit out a lot of probably the crying and the curse words that I said to him, like, "You have to get me home. You have to get me home." And what happened that night, which was now 3 days after September 11th, I was on the phone with Joe. And I was lucky enough in my team, we were staying at the Four Seasons Hotel in LA, and he said, "I'm going to stay on the phone with you, but get on the other line and call the concierge and the head of the hotel and tell them to find you a way to get home." So my son, Matthew, who was completely unglued and calling me like every literally 10, 15 minutes, "When are you coming home? Is this you? Is this Aunt Lori?" Joe Yuva stayed on the phone with me and never hung up for 3 hours. Never hung up the phone with me for 3 hours. And at the end of the 3 hours, a bus pulled in to the parking lot or the front entrance of the Four Seasons Hotel. And it was actually the Jackson family tour bus, because Joe Yuva does everything in style. So it was the Jackson family tour bus with 2 drivers that proceeded to, that night, 3 hours later, take me and the 10 people that I worked with home to New York. And 57 hours later, yeah, there was a lot of stuff that don't ask me about the 57 hours. But 57 hours later, Joe became a lifelong hero in my family. And he's my mentor, my friend, and I love him.